Diversity in non-monogamy. Experiences from different communities. Non-monogamy is not a homogeneous practice. It encompasses a variety of relationship forms practiced by different communities around the world. In this video, we will explore the diversity in non-monogamy, highlighting the experiences of various communities and how these practices are uniquely and richly experienced. What is diversity in non-monogamy? 1. Definition of diversity in non-monogamy. Diversity in non-monogamy refers to the wide range of relationship forms that do not follow the traditional monogamous structure. This includes polyamory, open relationships, relationship anarchy, among others. Each form of non-monogamy has its own norms, values, and practices, reflecting the diversity of thoughts and experiences of the people who practice them. 2. Origin and evolution of non-monogamy. Non-monogamy has a long history that dates back to various cultures and eras. Different societies throughout time have practiced varied forms of non-monogamy, influenced by cultural, religious, and social factors. Modernization and globalization have contributed to the resurgence and visibility of non-monogamous practices in many parts of the world. Common forms of non-monogamy. 1. Polyamory. Polyamory involves having multiple romantic and/or sexual relationships with the consent and knowledge of all parties involved. These relationships can vary in depth and commitment. Polyamorous communities emphasize honesty, open communication, and consent as fundamental pillars. 2. Open relationships. Open relationships are those where partners consent to having sexual or romantic experiences with others outside the main relationship. Rules and boundaries vary according to each couple. Flexibility and freedom to explore outside the primary relationship are key characteristics of open relationships. 3. Relationship anarchy. Relationship anarchy is an approach that rejects traditional hierarchies in relationships. Instead of categorizing relationships as primary or secondary, all relationships are seen as equally valuable. Relationship anarchy promotes individual autonomy and the freedom to build relationships based on mutual needs and desires without adhering to rigid social norms. Experiences from different communities. 1. LGBTQ+ communities. Many LGBTQ+ individuals find non-monogamy a way to challenge heteronormative norms and explore the diversity of their identities and desires. Non-monogamy offers an inclusive space to explore sexuality and gender in ways often not permitted in traditional monogamous structures. 2. Black and Indigenous communities. Black and Indigenous communities often have historical traditions of non-monogamous practices that have been marginalized or suppressed by colonization and the imposition of European norms. Reviving and valuing these practices is a form of cultural resistance and identity affirmation. 3. Disabled communities. For people with disabilities, non-monogamy can offer relationship forms that better accommodate their needs and desires. The flexibility and customization of non-monogamous relationships can be more inclusive. Non-monogamy allows for the creation of emotional and physical support networks that can be beneficial for people with disabilities. Challenges and benefits of diversity in non-monogamy. 1. Common challenges. Non-monogamy still faces stigma and discrimination in many societies. People may face judgment and rejection from family, friends, and colleagues. The lack of positive representation and accessible resources can make navigating non-monogamous relationships difficult. 2. Benefits of diversity. Diversity in non-monogamy allows people to explore relationships in ways that best meet their individual needs and desires. This can lead to greater self-knowledge and personal growth. Diverse communities offer a wealth of experiences and knowledge that can help challenge and expand social norms about what constitutes a healthy and happy relationship. Supporting diversity in non-monogamy. 1. Education and awareness. Increasing education and awareness about diversity in non-monogamy is crucial to combat stigma and misinformation. This can include educational programs, workshops, and online resources. Sharing stories and experiences from different communities can help humanize and normalize non-monogamy. 2. Advocacy and policy change. Advocacy for the inclusion of non-monogamous forms in laws and policies is fundamental. This includes inheritance rights, health benefits, and legal recognition of multiple relationships. rights advocacy organizations can work to promote legislative changes that protect and recognize diverse relationship forms. 3. Creating safe spaces. Creating safe spaces where non-monogamous people can gather, share experiences, and find support is essential. This can include support groups, community events, and online platforms. These spaces should be inclusive and respect the diversity of identities and experiences within non-monogamy. The future of diversity in non-monogamy. 1. Emerging trends. The growing visibility of non-monogamy in media and public discussions is contributing to greater acceptance and understanding. Relationship narratives are diversifying. Academic research on non-monogamy is growing, providing data and insights that can inform more inclusive policies and practices. 2. Intersectionality and inclusion. Intersectional approaches are needed to fully understand the diversity in non-monogamy. Recognizing how non-monogamy intersects with other forms of oppression and privilege is crucial. Including diverse voices and varied experiences is fundamental to building a truly equitable and inclusive society. Conclusion. Diversity in non-monogamy is a richness that reflects the complexity and beauty of human experiences. By celebrating and supporting the diversity of relationship forms, we can challenge restrictive norms and create a more inclusive and understanding world. Education, advocacy, and creating safe spaces are essential steps to promote acceptance and respect for all ways of loving and relating. Together, we can build a future where everyone is free to explore and live their lives and relationships in authentic and fulfilling ways.